Robert in the middle.
Robert Littell, Black Sports Online. Draymond, a couple of days ago, you said if you guys win the finals, that conversation that you had with Katie in the car would make you a genius. So are you indeed a genius, and tell us why?
Genius. Because I felt like, the team that we had, we were great. Won a championship, lost in Game 7, 3-1 lead, right where you want to be. We were great, but we were able to keep our eyes open and know that there was someone and something that can make this whole thing complete. And I said I was a genius. I was lying. Like, we all wanted to do that. But, we felt like Kevin could come in and, help us and, like I said, make it all complete. And he showed that, finals MVP, 4-1, world champions. It doesn't get much better than that.
And, Clay, a quick question for you right here, Clay. 31-2 right here. 31-2 since you signed the toaster. So will the team be getting toasters, and will you invite that fan personally to the parade?
I'll invite the fan, but we were supposed to go 16-0 for everyone to get toasters. So
I got a toaster at home. I don't really want one.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Come on.
Thanks.
Good.
Monty on the right side.
Monty Poole, NBC Sports Bay Area over here. For both of you guys have been through this before, having won it a couple years ago, but this year you had some veterans come along that hadn't won, guys like David and JaVale. What was it like seeing them in this moment when you guys pulled this off the first 15, 20 minutes after the clock hit zeros?
It was amazing. Obviously, like you said, those guys been in the league, most of them really 10-plus years. JaVale right there at 10, I think, or 9. And hadn't experienced that feeling. I was blessed to experience in year 3. He was blessed to experience in year 4. And, they've went Matt Barnes, 15 years, an entire career. For most, you're lucky to make it to year 15. Here he is winning a championship in year 15. It's an amazing thing. So to see them celebrate that was an even better feeling than just celebrating it yourself. And, that's why we're here, to make each other better and, to try to win championships. So it was a great thing to see those guys, experiencing this for the first time.
Up here in the front.
You guys both saw what Andre Iguodala did 2 years ago. Tonight, your closeout game, he plays 38 minutes, scores 20 points, and he had that dunk that just seemed to change the game. He looked like he was 23 on that play. Could you talk about that play, how it might have changed kind of the mindset of everybody and just his performance in general?
Andre lived for the big moment. Oh, you want to go ahead?
All right.
Well, that's what Dre's been doing all year. You've seen his bounce. It's unbelievable. I try to replicate what he does off the court because to be 33 and jumping like that is unbelievable. And he's one of the best professionals I've ever been around. And, 2 years ago he went to the bench and it rewarded him. He was Finals MVP. And same thing this year. The guy's an Olympian, a champion, an all-star, and one of the most complete players I ever played with. And he just makes everyone around him better. And he does such a good job at taking care of the young guys. He's one of the best I've ever seen at doing that.
Yeah, Draymond, after that first one, in the second half, you found him on a couple lobs for dunks. It was just like he turned back the clock.
That's kind of what I'm always looking for, a guy in that dunker. The guy helps up and, throw the lob. I never have a doubt in my mind when putting it up there to Andre that he's going to go get it. And, he was right there, gave me an outlet, and, finished the plays. And both of them were at key times. They were making a little run, or we were making a run when I threw one in the first half, and then the second half, kind of going back and forth, and we're able to get that play. So, those are great for us.
Fourth row.
Yep. Mark Purdy from the Bay Area News Group, Mercury News. This is for both of you guys. I think it's fair to say many people expected you to win this championship. But on every journey, there are unexpected things that happen. I think obviously the most unexpected was that your head coach had to step away for a while. But were there other unexpected things along the way for you in the journey that maybe now you can talk about now that it's all over?
Yeah, you take it.
Obviously Steve leaving out, was definitely unexpected. We thought we had went through that before and was never going through it again, and yet, he needed to step down. But the great thing that Steve does is he empowers everyone, and Mike Brown was able to step in, carry the torch, we were able to support him and try to play great for him as the head coach. And, he was amazing. You don't expect Kevin to go down for, 20 games, in the middle of the season. But we figured it out, and so that was great. You don't expect Coach Kerr to change the complete rotation in Game 5 of the NBA Finals. But, guys are ready, and you have to adjust to that. And so, there's a lot of things that go on throughout the course of the season that, you just have to make adjustment to. And I think, we've done a great job of doing that.
Clay, anything for you? Any?
Well, Draymond covered it all pretty much. But, I mean, although people did expect us to win, people don't realize how hard it is to go out there and do it. I mean, if you look at our record and they say, 16-1, it was easy, but it wasn't. I mean, this series could have really changed in Game 3 especially, but we had big-time players make big-time plays like Kevin. And then the Cavs blitzed us, obviously, in Game 4, I think it was. And, we didn't want to have to go back to Cleveland. And we responded really well tonight. And it was a beautiful year. We're going to enjoy it. We worked so hard for this. And like I said, although people expected it, it's a lot harder than you think.
Steve Bitker, KCBS. Draymond, second quarter, you guys were down 5 or 6, and Cleveland had led most of the game, and you went on this 22-2 run over 4.5 minutes. What happened?
I mean, we started getting stops. They had 37 points there in the first quarter. And it was kind of a replay of Game 1. I think they had 49 or something that first quarter. I mean, Game 1, Game 4. And we knew, if we're going to win this game, we have to come out and get stops. We did that, and that defense turns into offense. And so, once we locked in on the defensive end, we preached about it, talked, last couple of days. If we just come out and play defense, we're going to win. And yet, it's not that easy. They have great players, and guys stepping up in the moment. You look at J.R. Smith, was 7 for 8 from 3. They had different guys stepping up, and so it made it a little tougher. But we finally got to that point where we got stops, we pushed the tempo, and we scored.
Did both of those runs, KD had 11 points, and he had 39 for the game. I mean, you knew what you were getting when he signed, but were you in something of an awe over what he produced the entire season right down to the end?
Absolutely. I mean, he's incredible. Some of the things that he does at 7 feet is just unbelievable. And, he, like you said, he continued to do that from the beginning to the end. There he is, Finals MVP. We're world champs. It's an amazing thing.
Janie over here on the left.
Janie McCauley from AP. Along those lines, how did you see Steph and Kevin sort of evolve together, from the beginning when Steph maybe took a little bit of a back seat and let KD get comfortable, and then to them having these fierce three-point shooting contests down the stretch that were pretty intense?
Steph definitely took a backseat to start the season until he realized we didn't need him to take a backseat. We need you to be aggressive as you're going to be. And, when Steph turned that corner, I think it was after Christmas Day, when he turned that corner, we became almost unbeatable. And, that's what we needed. And so, there was this whole thing of who's going to take less shots? Is it going to be Steph, KD, Clay? None of them. The ball is going to find who it need to find at the end of the day, and that's those 3 guys. And we need them guys to shoot the ball and score for us, and they did that. And so, once, like I said, once they got to that point where Steph's like, I don't need to just try to come up and find KD or Clay. Like, the ball's going to find them, and they're going to get their shots. I need to do what I do, and that's be aggressive. I think that everything changed for this team.
Marguerite Golovich, NBC Sports Radio. Draymond, with all the dubious calls, for lack of a better word, that went against you guys, especially in these last 2 games, how much sweeter does it now feel to win this one as opposed to the first one you guys won?
No, I don't get old. I'll tell you what, though. I told myself I did like this State of the Union address. I wrote down this stuff like, man, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say that. I was going to bash everybody who talked junk. I felt like RJ was talking junk the whole series. Then the media, JR said some things. I'm like, I'm going to bash everybody. And then, that's a championship team, and they stepped up, the entire season. They were great. And you got to give those guys a lot of credit. And so right along with that, with the calls, that's basketball. That's sometimes the calls just don't go your way, and usually when a team is an aggressor, like Game 4, everybody say, oh, man, that was the worst officiating I ever seen. but they were one of the most aggressive teams I had ever played against. And so usually when you're aggressive, the calls go your way. And tonight we were more aggressive. We got more calls. And I think that's just how the game goes. You know, the referees are going to always get a benefit of the doubt to the more aggressive team because they're earning it. You know, they're more deserving. And so, you know, you look at officiating, it's one of the most, like, inexact sciences that you can come up with. Stuff just happens on the fly. I mean, you're talking, no disrespect to those guys, but you're talking about mostly 40 and 50-year-old guys trying to keep up with 18 to 30-year-olds. Like, that's tough to do. And so I think they were great. You know, they did the best they could. And, you know, I don't really look at it and say, oh, man, you know, they were out to get us or they were cheating us. Like, the most aggressive teams get caught, and that's just the way the game has always gone.
Last question on the right.
Steve Berman, Bay Area sports guy over here. Draymond, saw you actually helping up a few Cavaliers today off the floor, not really any sort of arguing with the referees. Was there kind of a different mentality that you came into tonight's game? And also,
Man,
do you owe Clay one for saving his life on that one play?
He owed me one.
You've been in the weight room.
Who caught him? Now, he definitely owed me something. I'll take a watch like Steph got me for getting MVP. No, but, you know, I talked to my dad, my grandmother, every person I saw walking down the street, my mom. Everybody's like, keep your cool, keep your cool. Don't argue with the refs. And so I had to ask myself, is it that bad? Like, does it look that bad that everyone I see, I'm in a grocery store, guy like, keep your cool. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this must be bad. And so, you know, I had to have a real seminar with myself. Like, I must be out there looking bad. And so I just told myself, like, I'm not going to worry about the officials. You know, I'm just going to play the game. And obviously, you know, as far as helping those guys up, like, I respect them. You know, there's a mutual respect. They're champions, we're champions. And, you know, like I said, that goes along the same lines of me. Like, I'm telling you, I had this whole document ready. I was ready to bash everybody. But I have too much respect for them, you know, and you know, the things that they bring to the floor, a great leader in LeBron and Kyrie, you know, that's where the help comes, because at the end of the day, it's basketball, you know, and I think so many times we let outside things make it more than that, you know, and like, it's basketball. I think, you know, why wouldn't I help a guy up off the floor? Like, owners have drinks together at halftime. Like, while we're battling, they're having drinks together at halftime, and yet, like, I'm supposed to, like, see a guy fall and look at him and, like, no, I'm not helping you up. No, I'm just going to try to punish you on the floor. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. So I think, you know, you feel that at times during the game where you're like, all right, I can't help him up. It's too heated right now. But for the most part, like, everyone wants us to hate each other, you know, hate this guy life, hate that guy life, but it shouldn't be that way. Are we going to compete? Absolutely, you know. We're going to compete to the highest level. But oh, man, I hate this guy, and I'm supposed to hate that guy. Like, everyone else don't do it, so why should we? That's the way I look at it.
Thanks, guys.